Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. I got a ton of DC updates for you. In fact, it was so much, I actually have to save a lot of that Zack Snyder's Justice League for tomorrow. So there's going to be a lot to unpack here, and I hope you bear with me. But again, I do have this feature called Chapter Marks. So if you don't like certain discussions, go ahead and skip to the chapter that you want to watch and listen to. But before all that, I have to thank the newest member of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you to Big Swanson. Thank you so much for joining the Ping Pong Flix Show as a member, including all the members here. Thank you to all you guys and girls for joining in. And remember, we're almost to the 100 mark where someone indeed will win that cool collector's edition Man of Steel. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen the video. It's for you to keep for one of the 100 members that will win. Of course, the 15,000 subscribers, which we're actually almost there, so I had to rush out. I didn't know it was going to be that quick. I rushed out and bought something for you guys. So as we get closer, I will reveal to you, all subscribers, what that random prize drawing will be. And for that certain video, when you comment on it, I will choose a random subscriber to win that certain DC merchandise. I'm so excited. I really want to give stuff away. And I just can't wait for that so it's really close now, and it's going to be quite something. But let's get into the topics today. The first one up is the CW's Arrowverse has launched their premiere dates. This is coming from, well, it's narrowed down. It's actually coming from tvline.com, but Discussing Film actually put it out in a summary that's really easier to kind of read through it. So the CW's Arrowverse, don't really care for Riverdale, sorry. January 17th is going to be Batwoman Season 2. January 20th is going to be, and that's Riverdale. February 8th, Black Lightning Season 4. February 23rd is The Flash Season 7 and Superman and Lois Season 1. There's also a bunch of other things that's coming out too, which we'll probably get excited for. Stargirl, Supergirl, that's all coming up next year. But it's great to see that we're starting to have those premiere dates for that. And really excited to almost be kind of done with a lot of that CW shows, so I can actually catch up to Season 7 of Flash, Supergirl, and things like that. I'm already on Season 3 of Flash, so I think at the pace I'm at, I can give you my fresh and honest perspective on the upcoming season in reviews when we get to that point. So I'm truly excited for this it's going to be a conclusion to the CW's Arrowverse for sure. But new things like Superman and Lois, let's get that suit. Where's that suit? Where's the Superman suit? Come on. All right. Now, the next topic is another series that is also coming up as well, and that is Titans Season 3. What's interesting about Titans Season 3 is that there's a lot of different characters that are being introduced in this Titans. It's getting pretty big. The cast is huge, right? We're talking about Tim Drake coming in. We're talking about, Jason Todd is now Red Hood. But the one thing about Red Hood that keeps people guessing and wondering what's happening with that is, how did he get from Jason Todd to Red Hood without him dying? That's the whole point of the death in the family. He dies, or gets knocked with a crowbar, the building blows up and stuff like that. But where is that story? Well, according to Scooper Omre Kea from a Vulcan Reporter, he said this today, that Joker will be involved in Titans. Really? He said this. Someone asked, do you think the transformation from Jason to Red Hood is related to the Joker? And he said this, yes, it is. And I recommend people to stop assuming otherwise. I've actually seen lots of people assume that Jason won't die and that Joker won't be involved or whatever. But these people seem to forget that Jason actually wasn't Red Hood yet the last time we saw him. Joker is involved. Joker is involved. What? Okay, now I'm going to stay silent and not reveal stuff early before my articles come out. And I will definitely cover those articles when those come out. But Joker involved in Titans. Yes. Awesome. I can't wait to see that, right? And then now people are like, whoa, what's the Joker gonna look like? But actually, we've already kind of seen what Joker looks like. These are the snapshots from Titans when Titans season 1, when Trigon puts Robin, Dick Grayson, into that nightmare vision, if you will, or nightmare dream world where Batman kills the Joker. You do kind of see Joker. We don't actually see who plays him, but you do see Joker here. Batman kills him in his dream, and at the end, Robin fights Batman and actually kills Batman. So it was such a cool little nightmare vision, if you will. I kind of felt like that would have been a cool story to revisit, and all that. But it does go to show that there is definitely a Joker in this universe. They did show him, and there's possibly going to be more of Joker later on in the Titans. I don't know how long that arc is, because it's got to be something pretty substantial in order to get the emotional arc. I don't imagine, and I could be wrong, but I don't imagine having him come as Red Hood right away without that arc, unless they show him as Red Hood and they revisit like a history lesson, if you will, or flashbacks, if you will, of when he died or something happened. I'm wondering if there's going to be a time jumps within the series, and I'm really looking forward to it. I want to see more Batman. I want to see more Robin, of course. We're having Nightwing now instead of Robin, but we are going to have Tim Drake Robin, and now we're going to have Red Hood. So it's going to be quite something this season. Titans season 3 shaping up to be really big, especially with the budget on HBO Max. I think there going to be more opportunities to do a little bit bigger things coming out of Titans season 3. So that's Titans, and that's awesome. Now, my next topic is a series that's coming on Netflix, and that is The Sandman. Neil Gaiman himself is bringing Sandman to Netflix, a live action Sandman, and a lot of people are truly excited. I'm very curious. I don't know much about the Sandman, but I'm ready to go deep into that mystical, supernatural, magical territory with dreams and things like that, especially when it's on Netflix. I think the budget's probably going to be a lot bigger. I'm really excited to see what that actually looks like. I'm really curious. So there's a little bit more revealed today in terms of an interview that Neil Gaiman himself has talked to in regards to the Sandman series. And there's some really cool things in here, like Sandman series apparently is to include Lucifer and Constantine. Check this out.
We started shooting about 10 days ago, so I've been watching my dailies, but nothing produced the profound emotional reaction on me that watching a camera test of our Morpheus in his glass prison in the cellar did. Just watching shots of him in there and going, oh, this is Sandman. While I cannot tell you yet who is playing Morpheus, I can say we had 200 odd auditions, out of which we found one that we really liked. But, season 1, we have 24 hours. We have the serial killers convention. We have the Constantine story, Dream a Little Dream of Me. We have Going to Hell. It's all in there. So yes, it will be scary. It'll be lots of other things too, because that's the joy of Sandman, is that it's a lot of different things in the soup, and you can taste all the different flavors.
Now, Neil Gaiman tweeted out that he suspects that he may have said more than he should have, and maybe it did, but there's nothing wrong with hyping up the fact that we could possibly get Constantine and Lucifer in here. Now, I kind of think it'll probably be new interpretations of Lucifer and Constantine. I don't know if Tom Ellis is going to reprise his role as the CW's Lucifer, or Matt Ryan will reprise his role as from the CW's Constantine. But so that's why I'm thinking this is coming on Netflix. It's probably going to be a new interpretation. But then again, a lot of that CW content is over on Netflix right now. So that could make sense in terms of seeing Lucifer and seeing or Tom Ellis and Matt Ryan within the series as well. But would that confuse things? Are they doing a different interpretation? I'm not quite entirely sure. But if you are a fan of Lucifer and Constantine, especially the CW versions, take a look at this series. Or if you're not and you're looking for a fresh new take for Lucifer and Constantine, and of course, Sandman, check out Sandman on Netflix. Hopefully soon. There is no release date yet, but I'm really looking forward to this series. Next up is the movies. Now we're really looking forward to Black Adam. Well, at least I am. It's pretty much a really packed movie so far. And now there's more indication that it could be a lot more packed than we've thought before. Like we ever thought it was already packed already. But Amon Tomaz is mysterious role in Black Adam. Now, there were hints that ISIS, well, actually, it's confirmed that ISIS is going to be in there, but there was also hints that someone else was going to be in there in terms of ISIS' son, whose name was actually Aziz Tomaz. But now it has been revealed today, and this is an exclusive from the Illuminati. Not really, because they're actually getting all this stuff from Daniel Rickman, Daniel RPK, the scooper, who releases stuff through his Patreon. So the Black Marvel family is actually going to be in this movie. At least that's what they think. Now, in the comic source material, the Black Marvel family consisted of Black Adam, which is Teth Adam, Isis, Adriana Tomaz, and her teenage brother Osiris, which is Amon Tomaz, and his best friend, a timid anthropomorphic crocodile named Sobek. Aziz Tomaz, son of Adriana Tomaz, Isis, appeared to be a brand new character created for Black Adam, though they had a hunch that he might become the DCEU version of Osiris. While Aziz's exact age was unknown, he seemed to be a young boy, possibly preteen. While that makes him a few years younger than Amon, it's safe to say that Warner Brothers wants to make a franchise out of the Rock's film. While he may not match Amon's age in Black Adam, he would be in Black Adam 2 or Black Adam 3 should there be sequels that would be greenlit. So Aziz exhibited some of the same personality traits as Osiris in his later appearances. He was emotional, naive, and quick to anger. These character flaws serve to humanize Amon in the source material, but they also prove to be his undoing on more than one occasion. On top of that, Black Adam seems interested in teaching Aziz the ways of combat and violence. So in the comics, Amon becomes Osiris after Black Adam lends him his powers. You can see some of the picture here, right here, and this guy right here. This is a super being, right? Although he also wielded Isis powers for a time, and their costumes even match. So through analysis and casting information available to the Illuminati, they can confirm that these similarities were no mere coincidence. Warner Brothers is currently searching for a 12-year-old male to play Amon. The character is Adriana's son and will be kidnapped by the villainous Ishmael. This confirms that Aziz is really Amon. The Aziz name may have been a placeholder in the script, or rewrites may have changed Aziz into Amon. So because of the coverage of Daniel Reichman Patreon stories seem to indicate that Osiris would be Isis's brother in the film, as he is in the source material. While Amon Tomaz will appear in the film, barring serious rewrites, they can exclusively confirm that in Black Adam, Amon will be Isis's son, as opposed to her brother. So there is certain liberties and where they're changing the story a little bit from the source material, but still capturing that feel that this is another Black Marvel family that's being included, and they're saying it's going to be Amon. Are you excited to see the DCU's version of Osiris this time? And that includes everybody else, which is coming in this epic movie for some other reason. You've got Dr. Fate, you got Cyclone, you got a Hawkman, you got Black Adam, you got an Isis. I don't know who's going to be coming next. I mean, this is incredible. This is a huge movie. This better be 3 hours. I don't know. But Black Adam is hasn't have a release date yet, but they are going into production in spring of 2021. The next film we're going to talk about is the Suicide Squad. There are more details from the Suicide Squad, like I said yesterday, because of the Empire magazine that came out today. A lot of people, covered the different aspects of that Empire magazine issue was quite interesting. For this one, James Gunn reconnected with Marvel one day after signing up to make Suicide Squad for DC. The filmmaker reflected on reconnecting with Disney and Marvel. It was a happy ending, he said, but it was also scary because I actually got the call from Alan Horn long before it was announced. It happened literally the day after I agreed to do the Suicide Squad, says Gunn. So after hearing from Horn, Gunn knew he had to update MCU head honcho Kevin Feige on his next project, who, when told it was a DC movie, Kevin Feige asked, "Is it Superman?" And Gunn stated that it wasn't Superman, though he said that was a possibility. He tells Empire, as we've talked about before, I don't know, so many videos ago, that they offered him Superman, but he chose the Suicide Squad instead. And Feige's reaction says, please make a good movie. Just make a great movie. While Marvel and DC have always been rivals in a way, the big two in the comic book industry, Gunn hasn't had to keep his latest project secret from his friends at the MCU. Kevin knew who all those characters were for months because, he went to the set before they even revealed them at fandom. And he also knows who the villain is. I think he's pretty trustworthy with his NDA. Like everybody who goes to on set, they probably had to sign an NDA. Kevin Feige is no different. But it's kind of interesting that he knew about all these DC characters before even us. But that's fine. That's cool as long as he is, very honest to that part. Please make a good movie. Just make a great movie. It does seem like even Kevin Feige wants DC to succeed so that the comic book genre doesn't fade away. And that's something to be kind of cool to, really champion in itself. There's also a little bit more. The size and scale of Suicide Squad is truly massive. They're hearing all the work from set design, practical and special effects going to this film is pretty impressive. Sounds like the biggest film Gunn has ever done. And what he means is by that is that the movie was so bad, in fact, that the Warner Bros. Told producer Peter Safran that this is the largest construction project on any movie they've ever done. More than 100 sets were built for this film, and they're heading to an area that may be familiar to fans of the Arrowverse and DC Comics. The movie's mission sends the team to a fake Latin American island called Corto Maltese, and Safran laid out the overarching goal. This is the goal, the mission goal. There they have to destroy a Nazi-era prison and laboratory named Jotunheim, where political prisoners were held and experimentations took place. Now, this sounds like a lot like the DC's version of Bad Robot's World War II thriller Overlord, though there's probably even more team members will die here than they did in Overlord. So James Gunn, he thinks he did more special effects on this movie than any of all the Marvel movies combined. And that really is true because we're crushing cars, we're blowing up tons of stuff, we're doing tons of squibs, we can do whatever we wanted. There are no rules in terms of sex and violence and things like that. Keep in mind that special effects refers to effects that actually happen on set, whereas visual effects are added in post-production. So they're actually doing physical effects, a lot of different explosions and things like that, practical effects, if you will. And so they even inquired about the possibility of a sequel to the Suicide Squad, and James Gunn actually says that's definitely a possibility, and he says he has already written a 7.5 of the 8 episodes of the HBO Max show centering on John Cena's Peacemaker character. Here's even a new image of Amanda Waller talking to Bloodsport. I anticipate there's probably going to be a lot more images leaked out from the Empire Magazine article, and I will definitely share it with you. But since we kind of talked about Peacemaker, the next topic, which is within the Suicide Squad, is that the Suicide Squad HBO Max spinoff series, Peacemaker, adds Steve Agee. This is coming from Deadline. They hear that Steve Agee will reprise one of his Suicide Squad roles, that of John Economos. The character is a warden of Belle Reve federal penitentiary and an aide to Viola Davis's government character, Amanda Waller. Agee is a longtime thespian in Gunn's canon, having starred within the filmmaker's Super, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and his horror feature production Brightburn, directed by David Yarovesky. Agee also is playing, of course, King Shark in Suicide Squad. So that 8-episode HBO Max series just got a little bit bigger with Steve Agee. Now on to one of the biggest news drop today was in regards to Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher actually talks about racism and toxicity during the 2017 Justice League reshoots. This is actually an exclusive, pretty much an interview from Shiraz Faruqi who's contributing to the Forbes article. And this is big. This has a lot of giants nuggets in here. Probably not enough to cover in this show, but I have it linked in the description below, along with other articles that are pertaining to this, including responses from Joss Whedon and a response to that from Ray Fisher. I want to read to you, including some quotes that Ray Fisher, damning quotes about the central execs that were on the Justice League, including Jeff Johns, John Berg, the director Joss Whedon, and even now Toby Emmerich as well. He said this: the erasure of people of color from the 2017 theatrical version of Justice League was neither an accident nor coincidence. One thing, the cast and crew were told that Zack had handpicked Joss to finish the film for him. He didn't find out until after the reshoots that was a complete lie. So that they're they didn't have no knowledge of that until after the whole thing. In fact, like a year or so later, when he actually got to talk to Zack Snyder, he heard whispers and rumblings of things being off behind the scenes, but nothing concrete until much later. In fact, they had them go out to San Diego Comic-Con in 2017 and say Zack picked Joss and that Joss was a great guy. He still has the email with those talking points on to have the entire cast lie to the public at San Diego Comic-Con in those things. And, Toby Emmerich also lied to us as well. Come on. He had that article that came out and it says, a quote from Toby Emmerich, that Zack picked Joss to do the reshoots. The reshoots were going to be minimal, going to keep in tone and stuff like that. Complete lie. So they were doing that back then. And so I'm not surprised by the whole Toby Emmerich thing. Prior to Justice League reshoots process, blatantly racist conversations were had and entertained on multiple occasions by former and current top-level executives at Warner Brother Pictures. Decision makers that participated in those racist conversations were Jeff Johns, John Berg, and current Warner Brother Pictures Group Chairman Toby Emmerich. Emmerich, Berg, and Johns, of course, did not immediately respond for comment. Of course, I'll continue to update if they do so. He realized that the notes he ended up getting from Johns during reshoots were just a coded version of the racist things he was saying with behind closed doors with the other execs. And a lot of what these guys were doing was in an effort to prevent themselves from being fired during AT&T's merger with Time Warner. Wow. And he's planning on getting to be more specific about these guys after the investigation is over. So this interview is just an abridged version. And the people who are going to do the investigation, the investigators that took down Kevin Sugihara. Yeah, Kevin Sugihara, the people that took down Kevin Sugihara are the investigators that are going into Warner Brothers to truly investigate this thing. Now, one of the biggest things that came out of this article were these quotes right here. The first one is, I've always suspected that race was a determining factor for the way that things went down, but it wasn't until this past summer that I was able to prove it. Race was just one of the issues with the reshoots process. There were massive blow-ups, threats, coercion, taunting, unsafe work conditions, belittling, and gaslighting like you wouldn't believe. Also, this huge one right here, this one is pretty crazy. What set my soul on fire and forced me to speak out about Joss Whedon this summer was my becoming informed that Joss had ordered that the complexion of an actor of color be changed in post-production because he didn't like the color of their skin tone. Man, with everything 2020's been, that was tipping point for me. Wow. Really changing the skin tone in post-production. That's just nuts. I'm just, wow, that's crazy. Sean O'Connell got a phone call, including everybody. I mean, everyone, for the Hollywood Reporter, Forbes, whatever. They all got the call from a spokesperson from Joss Whedon for them, and they gave out a quote here. The quote is that the characters were removed, yes, but that wasn't Joss Whedon's. That was before Joss Whedon's control. So in a way, he's kind of like Joss Whedon's trying to say that it was, you know, Jeff Johns, John Berg. It's their fault. You know, it's not my fault. And he also noted this in terms of the special effects of trying to change color. He said the individual who offered this statement acknowledged that this was just something that he had heard from someone else and accepted as truth, when in fact simple research would prove that it was false. As it is standard in almost all films, there were numerous people involved with mixing the final product on this film, including the editor, special effects, blah, 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 with a senior colorist responsible for the final version's tones, colors, mood. This process was further complicated by the fact that Zack shot on film while Joss shot on digital, which required the team led by the same senior colorist who has worked on previous films for Zack to reconcile the two. Basically, he's kind of, I think it sounds like a little bit of shifting of blame here. And you know, Joss Whedon's trying to protect one person, and that is Joss Whedon. And so this could be the start of him slowly pointing fingers each way. I mean, even Hamada wanted to bury John Berg and Joss Whedon. He was quick to do. In fact, Sean O'Connell got a response from Ray Fisher's side as well. He said that this is only a hair's breadth away from Berg's. Fisher was upset about Booyah defense. I've been trying my best to make sure that Joss Whedon and John Berg aren't able to be thrown completely under the bus by the other guys. But when they make these half-baked, knee-jerk excuses publicly, they make my job a lot harder. I'm settling in with my family for the night. I'll have a more in-depth response tomorrow. So we should be expecting another response tomorrow, or today, depending on when you watch this, in terms of Ray Fisher's situation versus the Warner Brothers execs that were involved with the Justice League reshoots. So this is getting very interesting, and it's also interesting to note that he's not alone in this. He has, in the article, he has stated that there are multiple sources, there are multiple people with these accusations as well. They'll probably definitely come forward. He also has the backing of the Screen Actors Guild. That's big. He's got the union backing him up as well, and so they're going to treat this as very, very serious. So I'm truly intrigued to see what happens out from all this. And I truly hope that justice is served. And I think this will have to maybe go to court. I think everybody should bring their lawyers, just settle this. Let's figure it out. Have the investigators get all their material, that anything they've grasped during the Justice League reshoots, and put it on the table for everyone to see, so that we know what the heck happened during the Justice League reshoots. Now it's time to go to the segment that I talked about yesterday, and this is the Ping Pong Flix members area, where I take your comments and questions from the previous video and I read it on air. Now, I may have already commented below it, but I want to give you a little bit extra and actually read it on air. So this is now Ping Pong Flix members comments and questions. The first one is come from Belle Reeve. Fado J pointed out that Batman's rifle had a Joker card sticker in it in the nightmare sequence of BVS. So I feel like this was always meant to be. Yeah, no, that was always meant to be. Batman, in my previous video, I talked about Batman and Joker team up. That wasn't something new. That was something that has been a long time hinted at, and even, Zack Snyder himself kind of really pointed that out. The Joker card on the rifle. There was more to that story, and it was all planned out all prior to what's happening now. It was all he elaborate plan out. So yeah, definitely that is correct. Timothy Dalbeck, I know they are teasing some sort of announcement regarding David Ayer's Suicide Squad happening on Halloween on Twitter. I haven't heard that. Just yesterday was that exclusivo from Garza and Dave about it being announced on the or coming out on Christmas this year. But in terms of announcement, I don't know. I'm just hoping that would be crazy. That would be awesome. That would be a nice Halloween fitting, actually, kind of be for Halloween. That would be a nice Halloween surprise. So I hope that actually happens as I did this. And Timothy, you're doing the same thing. Not only because it'll be huge, but it will break up the long wait for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I agree. This is the prequel to Zack Snyder's Justice League. That should kind of give us a nice tease, a nice little appetizer to getting to Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, if we're going to see the version of Joker that David Ayer wanted to put in, we might as well see that version rather than the theatrical version and see, a more menacing version when we watch Justice League. So toes crossed as well. Bola Vindo me, toes crossed as well. Lego Dinosaur. Releasing Suicide Squad at Christmas on streaming and plans to put out Wonder Woman in cinema. Warner Brothers are not going to allow that. They want all focus on Wonder Woman. Why would people bother if they can get Suicide Squad on HBO Max? Well, it is not a new movie per se. It is essentially a director's cut, if you will, especially when talked about the Ayer cut. And so maybe not many people would be too interested in that. Of course, we are. Also, whatever happens on HBO Max, that's up to Warner Max. That's on that side, Warner Media. Warner Brothers is about the theatrical, and they can definitely do that. I mean, they do that all the time. It's streaming and movies. It doesn't really quite, they don't really sync up like that as much as at least I think so. And so I don't see a problem with that, unless they're trying to release Wonder Woman on HBO Max as well. Then there'll be something there. But like I said, if theaters are continuing to reopen, Wonder Woman goes out in cinema, and if maybe people come home, they can watch Suicide Squad, the Ayer cut, over on HBO Max, which I think most mainstream audiences won't even know that there's a director's cut coming to HBO Max. So I think it will be fine, but we'll wait and see. They could just be waiting to see which one should release first or next. I don't know, depending on what they think about the theater situation. Ray's collection. Chris, do you think Joker takes Batman to his Joker's armory so Batman can pick his weapon of choice? That's why he has the Joker card ready on the gun he uses in the nightmare scene. Now, I love that. I love that thought of that interaction. Like I said there, that he goes over to an armory, and imagine that. I mean, yeah, they might have been fighting together and things like that, but at a certain point, they become a ragtag team. They become trusting with each other to the point maybe they even have that little thing where Joker is like, here, take a card for good luck or something on the rifle. And maybe, who knows? I'm wondering if even why he has the Joker card is in like a memory, like remembering Joker. Like maybe Joker did some ultimate sacrifice, and they've kind of become partners in a way, so that he actually places Joker on his rifle in memory of him. Like he's fighting for Joker as well. So I thought that's another interesting arc to kind of see in that interaction as well. So we'll see what happens with that. That's a very good question. Okay, last comment I can see here from a member, Frank Dombrowski. Thanks for commenting. Buongiorno. Is that how you say it? Chris, your presence makes all the difference. You and your show are at the top of the heap. As the Frank Sinatra lyrics say, thank you for the superb substance news and your wonderful demeanor. Stay gritty, healthy, COVID virus free. Always you and your family. Well, thank you so much, Frank, for your kind words. I try to make a daily habit of giving you the DC news every single day, and that is my focus. That is the goal of this channel. I want you to be up to date on anything and everything that's happening in terms of DC, either it's movies, shows, or video games. So if you like that, please like this video, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, keep that hot dog light on. There's a new shirt, Ping Pong Flix, and other shirts down below in a Teespring. Take a look, and I'll see you next time.